Hi there, this is Scott Bogart, author of Towards Enlightenment. Today's topic is Enlightenment and Judgment. Judgment is an amazing thing. It's a tool and a barometer of how we intertwine with the world and how we understand the world. Sometimes judgment can bring us tremendous understanding, but it can be a barrier to moving towards enlightenment. One of the most difficult things about judgment is making the distinction between having good judgment versus the act of being judgmental of others. Having good judgment is an important survival skill. It allows us to make good decisions. Sometimes these are decisions that our lives depend upon. The act of being judgmental of others is much more complex. Similar to having good judgment, it sometimes involves decisions that affects our survival. But it also has a dark side. The dark side has to do with self-validation, emotions, and a corresponding distortion of reality. Self-validation comes in because as we commit the act of being judgmental of others, just like a judge sitting on a bench, we want to feel that we're right. And why wouldn't we? If we judge someone wrong, we could be committing a grave injustice. Therefore, to create a sense of our own inner peace, we want to believe that we are judging correctly. So we look for evidence that supports that, often filtering out other important evidence. Emotions come in where we make distinctions between ourselves and others we don't respect. These emotions often add to the illusion of our intellectual powers and self-validation, but at the expense of deprecating or minimizing others, sometimes unfairly. The easiest way to make the distinction between good judgment versus judging others is by creating awareness of the emotions that surround it. If we make a judgment that involves others and we use that as a non-emotional basis of making a decision, that judgment is more likely to be rooted in good judgment. But if we make a judgment that involves others and as a result of that judgment we feel emotions such as anger, self-righteousness, or self-validation, it is more likely that we're committing the act of being judgmental of others. I realize that the concepts of good judgment versus the act of being judgmental of others is hard to get our heads around, and part of the reason is that the semantics are similar and the intellectual actions are also similar. But if you take the time to make this distinction and to create awareness around it, you'll find yourself more at peace with the universe and more receptive to truth and to enlightenment. To learn more, visit www.scottbogart.com and be sure to pick up a copy of Towards Enlightenment.